How's it going, guys? So today I'll be discussing Dr. Klein and Dr. Kahn's doing critical health communication, negotiating the terrain of transdisciplinary collaboration article is what my How's it going, guys? My name is Josh. I'll be discussing Dr. Klein and Dr. Kahn's doing critical health communication, negotiating the terrain of transdisciplinary collaboration article for my disc reading discussion for this week. I just want to say thank you guys for participating in my discussion board. Thank you guys for reading my outline. I really appreciate the feedback and I appreciate your guys' responses, which really helped me develop my presentation and develop my discussion that I'm going to give to you guys today. Um, so this article discusses challenges and opportunities in health communication when collaborating with other disciplines in order to make an impact on public health and policy. The authors talk about how critical approaches to health and communication focus on social justice while aiming to bring attention and assistance to oppressed groups. They discuss how critical health communication scholars face challenges when collaborating due to the differences in methodological commitments, particularly between qualitative and quantitative approaches. Critical scholars argue that biases and values are built into all research and they should openly be debated in order to address these social inequalities. Um, Critical scholars must collaborate with transdisciplinary teams and use mixed methods while adjusting qualitative methods to fit the post-positivist discourse. It is discussed also that critical scholars must practice self-reflexivity and transparency about their own biases, confront their own biases and assumptions, and describe their methods clearly and accurately. And doing this can really help address questions, challenges, and suspicions that anyone and any other researchers might have when it comes to critical scholars and their research. I'm going to talk about some definitions here that might some words that have come up in the reading that might pop up again or some that came in my summary that might not be known by everybody. So the first one is going to be rigor. Rigor, which is not about seeking a single truth or reality, but rather about being thorough, transparent, and critical in the research to ensure the integrity and value of the study. This just means that, for example, quantitative evidence and data, these are very straight to the point. They're not nothing, no in between. These are final data, final numbers, final answers. Structure of violence is a form of violence wherein social structures or social institutions harm people by preventing them from meeting their basic needs. For example, making certain neighborhoods, making it more difficult for certain neighborhoods to access certain healthcare or to access certain necessities that they might need, not having groceries in a specific area, things of that sort. Um, Structural violence is a point that critical scholars are arguing with qualitative data and qualitative methods, and that is something that's been shown being hard to be proven just because quantitative researchers and other researchers are kind of coming up to them and being like, well, where's the evidence? How are you going to prove this? Where they have to use their biases in order to fight for people who are experiencing structural violence. And without them having numbers, some people are finding it hard to believe and finding it hard to really sympathize with these marginalized groups the way that the critical researchers and critical scholars are with qualitative data. Transdisciplinary research efforts are conducted by investigators from different disciplines working jointly and working together to create new conceptual, theoretical, methodological, and translational innovations that integrate and move beyond discipline-specific approaches to address a common problem. So this just means like for example, health communication, working with sociology in order to come up with solutions, in order to come up with answers and responses of trying to figure out these problems of how they can help marginalized groups, how they can help different neighborhoods, and combat social inequality that comes with these issues. Um, and post-positivism is a methodological approach that believes in and privileges objectivity and focuses on procedures as devoid as instrumentally possible of human bias, misperception, and any other ideals. This belief is just that everything is objective. Nothing is subjective, especially when it comes to bias or anything like that. two posts from the discussion that you guys had left that really I found very interesting that I wanted to discuss because it touched on two pretty interesting topics involving the reading. Lots of people did mention how they feel that it is interesting and beneficial to mix quantitative and qualitative research methods, but there was also many people that said however, there is obvious challenges when it comes to mixing the two, which is very obvious and it's very true. It's very hard to combat when it comes to numbers that come with straightforward, specific answers, where you're also trying to bring it together with qualitative research that has different biases, different perspectives, that's subjective and might not always be the same. It's very hard to combine the two. Um, Anna's discussion response about, for example, law, how she says she found it very interesting because she wants to go into law, and in law, testimonials, which is qualitative data, and evidence, which is quantitative data, both of these are needed in a case, and both of these are needed to find justice, to find an answer. And I did find that very interesting because you never really think about certain things in this way of like, oh, what's qualitative and what's quantitative, and then you might be thinking more quantitative is just numbers more than just specific answers, for example, evidence, whereas testimonials, yes, they might be subjective, but sometimes these are more important than the evidence itself because these are the actual personal responses and qualitative information and qualitative research that has been done. Um, so I just found that very interesting, especially with the fact that it's in law and in our everyday life and in important stuff like that. Um, and how bias is negative. Oh, this was a response from Gabrielle. Bias is negative in health and can't really be subjective. Advancement will lead the openness for more perspectives. For example, she's saying that health has been health has been in specific ways, health communication and health, the field of health, uh, for many years now. And now that health is advancing, we're getting different genders that are being in different positions. Sorry about that. Different genders being in different positions, for different races taking over in different positions, different cultures. It's not so much one specific group of people, it's a lot more diverse. And with that being said, there's going to be a lot more different perspectives and different ideas that are going to come into play, which is going to help it advance health communication and health research going forward, where it will be more opportunities, where there will be more opportunities for qualitative research and quantitative research to mesh well together. For example, there's a quote here that's in page 5 at the end of towards the end of the article, from Dr. Khan, where he says, "The path of collaborative research is not easy, but opportunities exist if we are willing to speak to audiences outside of our domain." For example, this could mean transdisciplinary research, where you go and speak with others who are in a different field, such as sociology or psychology or different things like that, or where you can understand from different perspectives of different groups. For example, talking to not maybe some non-scholarly sources, for example, health students that maybe are undergraduates or maybe that are in graduate school trying to achieve to get to medical school, and then see their ideas and their point of view and putting that into your own research and your own methods and seeing how you can come up with more uh combining solutions and more effective solutions and stuff like that. Critical health communication examines the influence of power dynamics, and different perspectives on health and illness. Their objectives is to promote social justice and social equality while upholding human rights in different health contexts. Um, it deconstructs prevailing health narratives to reveal different assumptions and offers more inclusive perspectives. Critical health communication doesn't just they don't just take one perspective and push that narrative, and that's what it is. This is why qualitative research and qualitative methods are important because different health situations, different groups, different cultures, different ethnicities, it could all vary between one and the other. Um, However, researchers acknowledge the role of researcher bias as an instrument. which is used to advocate on behalf of these marginalized communities. Because without this bias, it is believed, as it was stated in the article by Dr. Khan and Dr. Klein, without these biases, no one is really going to stand up for these people, and results and data and quantitative methods aren't really going to show what's really going on, aren't really going to show the impact that is actually being had over by these marginalized groups, especially if they don't have access to, for example, fill out surveys, questionnaires, reach out for help, and things of that sort. The critical health communication scholars that are doing this research are hosting interviews or talking to people within these communities. This bias is what's going to actually help them move forward in the society and within and actually achieve some social justice and change. Uh, Critical health communication also just goes beyond simply delivering health messages, by focusing on power dynamics and societal structures. It's not just trying to figure out how the higher ups are diminishing these communities. It's more so just about they're trying to figure out how to to collaborate with the people in these communities and experiencing these things, and what their perspective is and their point of view, because not every neighborhood, not every group is going to be needing the same things. It's all very subjective. It's all very subjective to their own needs. Um, it's very action oriented, and the clear bias is just specifically towards social change and inclusion between all groups. Health issues are very complex. This is where transdisciplinary collaboration comes into play. Health issues are very complex. They require multiple perspectives. For example, like I was mentioned earlier, from public health to sociology to healthcare, all these combinations could provide different perspectives and different factors to help different areas, um, when it comes to these types of issues. Different issues, however, do have different methods, which can create tensions between critical scholars and those who favor quantitative approaches, especially those who are very deeply rooted in their quantitative approaches. They're not going to be very open to some qualitative research that doesn't have evidence or isn't proven or isn't factual, or not factual, but isn't factual on their behalf, because it can't be proven and it's not a specific, straightforward answer. However, obviously, we know qualitative research focuses on subjective experiences and meanings, interviews, talking to participants, talking to people who have experienced these things, and quantitative research emphasizes numerical data and statistical analysis. So this is obviously quantitative isn't so much of I want to hear the words you have to say, I want to hear how you feel. It's more so fill out this paper, whatever your answer is number wise, that's what you go under, which isn't very personable, which isn't going to work, especially in these marginalized communities, because one, they're not going to be very comfortable answering these questions knowing that they're not going to be fully heard. They're answering a paper, they're not feeling very heard, they're not feeling very personal, they're not really going to be motivated to actually try and seek their own change, which is what qualitative researchers are trying to provide for them. Mixed methods are trying to can be served as a bridge when you combine qualitative insights when quantitative data. It'll create more richer and more comprehensive research when you can combine qualitative experiences, qualitative stories with quantitative statistical answers, numerical data, and combine it together. We'll be able to provide just so much more information, so much more results. It'll be able to just give the public just so much more clarity on a lot of different things, which personally I agree with and believe that maybe researchers should look into combining more, or maybe we can find a middle ground where half and half can be used, and I feel like that would really be able to advance health, not only just critical health communication, but any critical research analysis in general in any types of aspects of life. and integrating critical perspectives into mainstream health research while influencing public health policies through collaborative efforts. These are two ways in which goals of advancing health communication can be was what we hope for in the future. And the commitment to social change, just maintaining a focus on equity and justice in health outcomes, and just really empower future scholars to engage in transdisciplinary research, whether it be um, getting some advice or getting some perspectives from someone that's not in their field directly, someone that might not be studying the same way that they study, someone that might have different ideas in a different area of field, even if it's a competitor, it's things like that. It's just more collaboration, more combination is just going to bring more clear results, more healthy results, and just greater information for the general public and for people, individuals that are researching these topics as well as professionals that are within these topics. And so, with that, I just want to say thank you guys for giving me your time. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope it was very clear. I hope I was able to give you guys a very good discussion and insight on what this article was by Dr. Khan and Dr. Klein. Thank you to them for allowing us to read their work. And thank you guys, and I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys next time.